That's much better. Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Clark and I am here to share with you about, let's try that one again. Hi, I'm Melissa Clark. This month is Pursue Your Passion, and I'm very excited to be the guest speaker for Serenity Leadership so that I get to share with you how I was able to achieve pursuing my passion and actually getting it into a published book format. So a little bit about me, and please forgive this. I was starting it thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to put this on a poster board and y'all are going to be able to see it, and I totally forgot that I'm doing the reverse camera thing. So if I'm looking at myself, that's why, because I'm actually looking here so I can see what we're doing, but it comes out reversed. Then I got smart. Smart, get it? This is for our goal setting. So I will let y'all know about this later, but I finally got it to work and then I didn't. And so here we are, imperfections and all. So I hope that you're ready for an interesting take on how to pursue your passion, how I view passion. I kind of had to reframe it, so I'll be kind of hitting on that here in a minute. For those of you who are type A personality, you probably already have a pen and paper, but for those of you who are type B, I encourage you to grab one because there's lots and lots of information in this segment. I can wait just for a few minutes and flub while you go get one of those because I'm type B. I totally got you, girl. I understand your plight completely. Let's get into a little bit about who I am, and then we can get rid of that and actually get to the nitty gritty. I am now a children's book author. I self-published through a vanity press, and I have a fantastic family of 3 wonderful children, a husband, and more animals than I'd like to admit to. So here are my babies and me. My husband works in the oil field, so I have lots of these my own self with my children pictures. But this is Sophia. She's the one who inspired the book. When she was 4 years old, we were baking cookies in the kitchen, and Hark the Herald Angels Sing came on, and I asked her a silly little question of, well, do you think all the angels are named Harold and that's why they're called the Herald Angels? And she was like, no, that's silly, Mommy. Even at the age of 4, she's like, no, only one angel named Harold. So we'll get into Harold here in a little bit. Then we have little Eli. This little man is 4, and he's in love with Lego World right now. In fact, he's playing that as I'm doing this presentation so I can actually get it done. And then I have my Julesy. This is Juliana. She's 2, and she runs the household like any of the youngest in the families do. So those are my babies. My husband absolutely despises social media, anything or online stuff, so I've opted to keep his anonymity, so to speak. But I'm a stay-at-home mom. I take care of my 3 babies as the first, second, and third job. So it does feel like that. I feel like I'm a psychologist and a cleaning lady and a laundress and all kinds of things all at once. And so I consider it one of the greatest challenges of my life. But there's also a big part of me who needs to create and needs to do things for myself. And finding time to do that is what we'll get into here. So I know that there's a lot of women out there who have very limited time to get things accomplished for themselves because they have jobs, families, all kinds of things. Who knows within your life? I can imagine. So when I started, I've got my shenanigans down here and some more up here, so you'll have to bear with me as I shuffle around. I think here. When I started Harold, I was going through a rough time in my life where my identity got lost in the mix somehow. I was in my mid to late 20s at the time, and I was hanging out with my daughter, and we were going through all the wonderful Christmassy things. And when that idea for the book came up, I jumped on it. It was something that finally lit me up inside, and so I took a week and a half maybe, and I created this little guy, and that's Harold. He's now my best friend. I kind of treat him like he's one of the children, to be honest, because he's become that much a part of my life. I did the writing and the illustrations, and then I read it to Sophia every Christmas for many years. Then we added Eli, and he got in on the reading every Christmas, and then Juliana's been reading it. The cool thing is, this past Christmas, I was actually able to read them the finished product. And this is Harold all finalized. Isn't that fun? So when you open it up, this is what he looks like. And this. So this is passion. This is the pursuit of passion. They're very different things, but there's a way that we can start gathering our thoughts and actually making it come to fruition. So I'd like to tell you that I had it all together, and I had A, B, C, and D, and I figured it all out, and that is not the case. That is not the case at all. Like I said, I sat on this little book for darn near 7 years before God had it. He was fed up with my shenanigans, and he decided to really push me into doing research and finding the right vanity press and finding the right illustrator and all kinds of things to make this come alive. And when I did that, I realized all those people who talk about goal setting and vision boards and what passion looks like, all those people weren't crazy, and they weren't just these pedestal people who want you to follow their way of doing things because they're successful. I was really snide about it. And once I really started realizing dreams can come true, visions can come to fruition, and I really hadn't put a whole lot of that into making this book, that if I really even put 10% of my effort into learning how to do this, then maybe I could be a really successful person. And even now, having the book doesn't mean that I'm not gonna have to push in order to get it out into the universe so that people will actually buy it. So that's a whole nother thing. And I really realized I've got to have some sort of process to get through in order to make this work, because I can't keep relying on just being creative. So that's where I want to get into our 10 goals. I was sifting through all these self-help books, and I was trying to figure out where I was going to come up with a way of putting things in front of my face to get things done. Because type B's, I'm not really that organized. I like to just dream it and let it kind of come to me, I guess. And while that works for a little while, it doesn't work all the time. So I decided to get this book, Dream It, Pin It, Live It by Terry Savelle Foy, in which she outlines how to begin getting those juices flowing to seeing yourself in a new light, seeing yourself as a successful person, seeing yourself as somebody who sees something and achieves it. It's not just a thought in your head. While she has a ton of amazing and sometimes mind-blowing things in here, I'm only going to grab one thing that she did that I really liked and I appreciate, and that's the goal setting. I think it's chapter 3, but for me, it really helped to understand that I can outline my future and I can actually go for it. So what I encourage you to do right now with that trusty notebook and pen is write down 10 goals that you can see achievable in the foreseeable future of about a year to 18 months. Now, for me, if you haven't been a goal setter before, and this is me, pick 3 that you can achieve in the next 2 or 3 weeks. For me, it's getting a grip on my laundry, getting a grip on the organization of my bedroom. And so I created that as two of my three goals. I even had to dissect them into smaller goals so they were more edible for me. With laundry, I will keep the same load of laundry in the washing machine and have to wash it over like 3 times. That's the type of laundress I am. I should be fired, honestly, if we're really being honest. So I think there's even one in there right now. Come to think of it, I need to switch over. So my goal is to start creating new habits in order to make that something that I can do on a daily basis. So my goal is do 1 load of laundry per day, because with 3 children, a husband that has stank clothes, and myself, there's always laundry to do. So I'm going to get on top of it, and that is part of my goal. So please write down 3 achievable goals within the next 2 to 3 weeks. You probably already know what they are. They're the 3 things that really irritate the crap out of you and you haven't done anything about, like the box that is not unpacked from 6 months ago when we moved in the house. It's still sitting in my bedroom. So I have a goal to get that done by Friday. I've given myself a whole week so I can do a little bit at a time if I have to, but it's there. So the next 7, though, you still have 7 to fill. Those are the big ones. Those are the ones that you're going to have to break down over months and achieve in a year, year and a half. So for me, I want to get back to Peru, which is one of my favorite places, for some mission trips this year. And I have that as a goal to achieve by October. I have to save that money. So they're bigger goals, they're bigger ideas. If you want to be a CEO of a company, what does that look like for you? If you want to pour more love and affection into your children, what does that look like? Perhaps you want to write a book, or you have decided that you need to get all of your art into what's it called? In a museum? No, not curated. Whatever you want to do. I'm sorry, that I don't know that term anymore. What is it? Gallery. Get your art into a gallery. What does that look like? Perhaps you want to be a YouTube personality. What does that look like for you? So write those suckers down. Now, the thing is, in your spare time, and I want you to write this down as well, is how to do it. The SMART way is an acronym in the book, and you want to, hold on, I had it, okay, it's right here, but I'll outline it really quickly, and then you can write it down, but I still think you should get this book because it's really going to help you with extra other wonderful things, including like lifetime achievable goals. Okay, sorry, I'm looking down so I can make sure I don't have like a wild booger in my nose or something. Number S, be specific. You have to have specific goals so that you don't get discouraged. Instead of saying like, I will save more money this year, set an actual number. Number M is measurable. Make sure it's measurable. This way you can truly measure what, okay, she says that you can truly measure whether or not you hit a goal. So instead of saying I will lose weight, you say I will weigh 120 pounds by May 15th. That's what she said in the book. I am personally going through this as well, and I found I don't like pounds. Pounds and I don't get along. I don't like looking at the scale. I feel horrible when I do, and so I go by the size of my pants. So my goal by December 1st is to have my normal size pants back on, which is a size 3, but that does not mean anything. So don't get carried away with me. You know what I'm saying? All right, number A. A is action oriented. We want to be action oriented. That means action words. You want to use verbs. Okay, so instead of saying have money in the bank, we can say I save $500 a month for savings. or I have $5,000, I save $5,000 by September 1st. Good actionable goals. Okay, R is realistic. If you set really high goals for yourself that is beyond achievable, then you have a very high percentage of failing, and you're going to feel like a failure. And then are you going to want to try again? Probably not. So let's make it realistic. There's a section in this book where you can be completely unrealistic and you can dream anything you can dream, because God says, if you can dream it, I can make it happen and then some. So that's where that lies. But when you're looking at really achieving something for the foreseeable future, make sure that it's something realistic so you don't get discouraged. And then T is timeline, time sensitive. It's always time sensitive. Okay, you have to establish a by when date. So for me, like I said, I want to be in shape by the time I get to Peru, because I don't want to be traipsing around the Amazon with no muscle. So I want to be at my goal size and my goal lift weight by September 1st. So it's all very specific and time oriented. So we've achieved our SMART goals. Writing those down and getting them in the proper format is going to be exponentially easier for you. Let's see. And I'd like to use my my book as an example, but I really did not do that. I could have gotten that sucker published within probably 2 months, and it ended up taking almost a year. And that's because I was dragging my heels. I was trying to figure out what the heck this was going to look like. And then I also had a hard time trusting the process. So giving up my passion or my dream for my illustrator to actually do his job was an emotional adventure for me. It's very hard for me to let go of things, and I'm sure that is the same way for a lot of women, because we know that we can do a really good job. But there are people out there that God wants to partner you with so that it can be even better, because the passion that you have for your project or your dream or your vision is going to osmosis, or it will become contagious for someone else. In fact, that's what my illustrator told me. He said, this has inspired me to do more things for your book. And I thought, oh, that's great. So we ended up doing the the realistic clouds and the cartoon characters and things like that. So just, it's amazing what happens when you let go and have a little bit of trust. Side note. All right, so we're going to move on to my vision. Ooh, just stepped on something. My vision board. Okay. I want to get this up close. You see, there's my Peru adventure and my fitness. This over here is eating better, because that's going to get me to my goal. And it's going to remind me that chicken and what are those, Brussels sprouts? Oh, kale. Kale is good for you. I actually like it if it's cooked right. Here, attitude of gratitude reminds me that when the little things happen, I need to be grateful for it. Because sometimes I get those little things, like the little prayers answered, and then I'm like, okay, what's next? Instead of being grateful for what I've achieved. So please be grateful for what you have achieved. If it's little, be grateful. If it's big, be grateful. It's a very important practice. This is my family with my children, my niece, and my parents. My father passed away last year, so he's with Jesus now. But my goal is, see there, the little halo. I also put a halo on my mom, not because I want her to die, but because I want her to go to Jesus too. And so that is a belief I have and a vision I have for my relationship with her, is sharing the gospel with her. And then all of these babies, I want them all to have a fire in their belly for Jesus. That I copied from one of my friends at church. She was talking about fire in the bellies of her children. I was like, yes, I want that too. So I did copy, but whatever. And then I put little hearts there for Jesus as well. And I put a heart for my mom with a crown, because I'm believing that for them. This might surprise you. Botox. I want Botox because I get this little crease right here and it's starting to make me look angry all the time and I don't like it. So judge me if you want to, but I am willing to put botulism in my face. So, and my lips. I'm going to be doing all kinds of stuff. So that also goes hand in hand with getting my teeth. I've already gotten them straightened. I want them whitened and all kinds of vein, vision-y stuff. We're women. What are you going to do, right? Okay. I'm going to set this up here for you just to take a look at, because then I'm going to share what you can do. I mean, it's really just what's it? Gosh, you guys, seriously, help me out. I'm so used to Facebook Live where people help me with my mom brain stuff. Just a poster board. And yeah, sorry, you know, I usually do Facebook Live, and so I'm used to people watching me all the time. But surprise, this presentation is so different. But you can make it as fancy or as unfancy as you want. I just got really tired of doing all the schmancy stuff, so I just plaster stuff up there. I'm surprised it even got cut out at this point. But I also have Jennifer Aniston because she's regal and I just love her and I think she commands a room, and so I want to be a speaker, and she just reminds me of those things. So I'm going to post her up there. I'm going to post these blankets because they remind me of Cusco, Peru, and I want to go back there badly. And then gardening. I started a tomato plant and he's thriving. His name is Chi-Chi Von Tomatokins. And so I saw this gal with all of these vegetables and I decided I'm being very successful with my tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and look at doing peppers and all kinds of stuff. So those are going up there too. Your vision board does not have to be about goals all the time. Your vision board can be about what you want out of life. I want to be a gardener. You might not. You might want to be a crafter, or you might want to jump out of an airplane. You might want to sing at church. Whatever it is that lights you up, I want you to put it on your vision board. And I date mine because I keep all my vision boards. That way when they come true and they come to fruition, I can look back and I can see all of the wonderful things that God's done in my life. I usually put scripture with it. I just have been lazy and didn't do it this time. But I encourage that as well. So we have talked about how to get our goals, how to make them smart, because dumb goals are just silly. And then how to do our vision board so that, I also want, side note, please place this in a place where you see it every day and you walk by it at least 2 or 3 times a day, because when you put it in front of your eyes, what your eyes behold, your heart sees. And that's how you're going to consistently keep your vision in front of you at all times. It's kind of like that same process that your mind goes through when you buy a new car, and then all of a sudden you see all the same cars on the street and you're like, gosh, this wasn't as unique as I thought it was going to be, because there's so many. That's why. So I encourage you to keep it in front of you, because you're going to start seeing health everywhere you go. You're going to start seeing opportunity to speak to people everywhere you go. You're going to, whatever it is, it's going to zero that thought process in on your vision. So it's a lot of fun. I just looked at one of my old vision boards from 2 or 3 years ago. Every single one of them came true. Every single one of them. I had the body of a goddess for a little while. It was pretty awesome. And then I got pregnant because I had the body of a goddess, okay? Yep, that happened. TMI? Maybe. I need to get a cork board or something. This is crazy. I'm putting all kinds of holes in my wall just for you guys. All right. So we got through this. We got through this. I think I want to hit on comparison a little bit. Hashtag don't do it, or don't boo it, because oops, I didn't do the backwards thing right with the D's, but I'm not dyslexic. This camera is. It drives me crazy. Okay. So seriously, don't compare yourself. Don't compare your dreams. Don't compare your vision with other people, especially if you have Like Harold was something that was born out of my heart. And if I took the time to stop and think what other people were going to think about it, how it was going to maybe offend somebody in Barnes and Noble because it was a Christian book, how it didn't add up to some of the more popular gals out there, Fancy Nancy can stick it. I don't compare myself. I do it for me, and then I pursue it with the intent of sharing it with people like me, because as unique as I am, I'm not the only person who enjoys the things I enjoy, and you're not either. So I mean, you're always going to think about some of the freakish things that are out there, and there's like 1 million people who like it. I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but let's think about that for a minute, okay? So you're not so unique that nobody's going to like what you have to offer. I promise you that. There is a niche. There might be something bigger in your life for that. And 10 years from now, maybe it's a big time trend. Who knows? But if it's important to you, then use that passion to edge out comparison. And that's where I have my next book recommendation, Without Rival by Lisa Bevere, is one of my favorite books because she talks about what you mean. It talks about how the Father views you, what you mean to him, and that you are loved uniquely, not equally. So I will let her tell you how amazing you are in the way of the Lord. But she puts in here a quote by Theodore Roosevelt. Comparison is the thief of joy. So please do not take away your blessing by stealing your own joy away from your passion. There's no reason for that. So, don't do it. Let's exit out. Okay, there's visual for you. All right, woo! Let's go to passion. Okay. One of the things I think held me back for so long with the book was that I considered my passion to be an emotion only. That was all it was to me. If I had all I needed was a big amount of passion, and then all of a sudden everything was going to happen for me, and that just isn't reality. Passion is what creates the thing, right? So you have a passion for a new business model, you have a passion for new parenting styles or choices, you have a passion for writing a book. That's wonderful, and that emotion is going to get your creativity flowing to get it done. But what happens when you need to pursue it? You can't rely on emotion alone. So we have to reframe passion, and what does that mean? That's a hard one. It took me a while to chew on it. I actually looked up the definition like a lot of people do. You'll find the Webster's Dictionary states passion is basically an emotion. It's an outlet for anger, lust, excitement, anything majorly huge in the human emotion. And that's great for your soul. But what is going to happen in the reality? And as I was looking down the definitions of passion, I settled on the third one, which is the passion of Christ. And take what I'm about to say with what you how you can add to it, not what your personal belief is, because for me it is Christ. I think Christ's passion was mostly about sacrifice. Two things: sacrifice and joy. The joy set before him was what got him to the cross, and sacrifice was what got our opportunities here on earth. So the thing about passion is sacrifice is required in order for you to make it everything that it can be. So you have to add action. Passion should be an action word as well as an emotion. And I'm not talking about negatively. I'm not talking about take time away from your kids or blow up your savings account and sacrifice all your money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is positive sacrifice. Instead of doing 20 minutes on Facebook, go do that at the gym, or spend time with your kids, or take that 20 minutes and sit down and write your book for 20 minutes. I don't care if it actually makes it in the book, just write something. That is the little bit of momentum every single day that is going to help you pursue and overtake that passion and allow it to do its job for you. That was something that I really felt in my heart that somebody out there needed to hear today, because it's not just about your worth in your emotion. I think we like to equate emotion with success. If we're emotional enough about it, then surely we will succeed. But we also have to have those steps involved. Which brings me to the final book recommendation I have for you, which is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And I don't have that book. I don't know why. I think I lent it out, and books never get returned, and I don't expect them to. So Jeff talks about how small actions can equal a large reaction, right? So, for example, if I eat a cookie once every few weeks, not a big deal. It's not really going to affect too much of this body unless I'm having a cheeseburger on the side. But for our analogy, just the cookie. It's not going to add a whole lot of sugar into my body. But if I do one cookie after every meal, or one cookie after dinner every day for 3 to 6 months, I'm going to get my little cookie arms, and I'm going to get my little cookie pouch. So it's those little fat cells that continuously add up into cookie arms, or wings, as I like to call them, because I have them right now, because I've been eating my cookies. Yeah, so that can be the negative impact, or the positive impact is 10 minutes a day I go out and I walk around the block, or 10 minutes a day I sit down with my children and ask them how their day was and look them in the eye. Those little things are going to add up to big things. Pretty soon you have a relationship with your child where they come to you for everything because they know you're going to give them that one-on-one attention. Or you don't have cookie arms anymore because you've been lifting your weights for 10 minutes instead of eating that cookie. Whatever it is, it's going to add up in your favor, or it's going to add up to your detriment. But that law is there. The slight edge is always there. So Jeff has amazing stories on how that looks for your bank account, for your life, for your goal setting. I love it. In fact, I'm going to get it again so I can read it. But that's going to allow your passion and your goals and this doesn't have anything to do with it, to be able to pursue what you need to get done, so that you can end up with a Herald all your own. So that is my presentation, my friends, and I hope that you've enjoyed some of the tidbits that I've picked up along the way. I hope this inspires you to continue to go after your passion, to set your goals, to overcome those goals and set bigger ones for yourself, because I know that you can do it. If a person like me has any success in life, and I implement these, I mean, the sky's the limit. So I know that y'all are going to do great things. I hope that you'll share them with Serenity Leadership so that we can hear about it, and have a wonderful, fantastic evening.